Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets, doing another 2-for-1 video with 2 beers in one video that I got from Beer Jam. So thanks a ton to Beer Jam for these beers. This is more beer from 8-Bit Brewing. So far we've tried the West Coast IPA, a West Coast IPA from the Hazy IPA, and another beer that I'm not going to talk about because that is something you'll see. Well, yeah, we're going to leave it there. But we're trying 2 IPAs today. And I wanted to get these done quickly, or as quick as possible, because they're not as fresh as the Ghost of Tsushima. One is from July, the other from August. So far, their beers has held up really well, considering age. But we're in November now, so, it's not that fresh anymore. What is that? It's the end, one of them was the end of, so this is the 19th of August, and this is the 21st of July. One is DedSec and the other is HODL. DedSec, I think this is a reference to Watch Dogs. It's just, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is, because I played the first one and it reminds me of that, with where you use your you use your phone to like hack into things and stop things and switch lights and stuff like that. It was pretty fun. A Ubisoft game, and I think this is just a little spoof on cryptocurrency or something like that, because it's talking about eight or like Bitcoin or 8-bit coin, and cryptocurrencies on the label on this coin there. So that might be it. But the first one here is a single IPA on 7.8% with Citra hops that we're going to start off with. And pours a very nice color, very similar to Ghost of Tsushima. Golden, bright yellow, light hue of orange, big fluffy white head when you pour this one. Let's take out the aroma. Yeah, you can definitely smell that this one's not like bursting out of the glass anymore, because it was from, this was the old one, right? This was from July, yeah. So, it's a bit of a shame, to be honest. But that's sometimes how it is with importing, and things get stuck in customs, and there's all kinds of things. There's still some nice vibrancy to it. This smells like, it's not like jumping out the glass at all, but it smells like when this was fresh, it had like that very dank Citra vibe. Like Citra started to go really dank on its hop profile. And there's a bit of that, but it's like fairly muted citrus fruitiness, and there's some juicy citrus, slightly generic tropical fruitiness. But it's just nothing major. Even like on the aroma, I felt like Ghost of Tsushima held up more. That was pretty nice, but yeah, it's not bursting out of the glass. But I think it's age. But let's try it. Cheers. Yeah, it tastes a little bit better, but like it leaves you wanting for more. No off flavors, no problems, no nothing. This is just another showcase of why IPAs should be drunk fairly fresh. In a sales standpoint, that's really hard. I guess that's more for a geek, really, because as a casual beer drinker, most people wouldn't know this, and most casual beer drinkers wouldn't watch beer channels on YouTube. So for in a sales point of view, it's really hard to do short shelf lives on hazy beer, unless you're some kind of super small hype brewery where your beer is sold out as soon as you produce it, pretty much. So you have to have some shelf life. But one thing that's cool is that it's a canned on date. It's not a best before date, so they're not advocating, this beer is gonna, because it won't technically expire, but at least you'll know when this was produced. It's not like where you have to guess okay, so this is going to expire, and then it's a pretty serious statement having the filling date on the can. And with that, I don't really think you need nowadays a best before if it's at least IPAs, because most beer drinkers that are into this will know. I think it's all about some laws and regulations in wherever you're based. But yeah, this is just, it's lacking, in every parameter you want when drinking a beer like this, just because of age. It's decent, it's nice to drink, but it just falls short. You could sense, as I said, there was some dankness. It's the same kind of just really nice classic citrus flavor, sweeter citrus, generic citrus, a little bit of brightness, tart tropical fruit, but also some sweet, slightly overripe tropical fruit. Also, it's dry, which is a big thing for me. Again, like New England IPAs that are dry, yes please. More of that than over sweet, under attenuated New England IPAs, please. But the sweetness is, it seems higher in this than something like Ghost of Tsushima, but I think that's also an age thing, because it does finish dry and slightly pithy, and bitter. But yeah, that suffered a bit, I think, from age. I'm not disappointed or anything. It seems like I'm knocking it. It's just like, this is just what it is. It's not terrible beer in any way, shape, or form. I'd be happy to drink it if I was out and about and with some friends and just getting some beers where it's not about sitting nitpicking and just drinking a beer and having some fun. But sitting geeking about beer, it falls short. But let's move on to HODL. So maybe this will hold up better because it's tapped, pretty much a month later. And this is Simcoe, Citra, and Kashmir, 8.9%. So a whole lot more ABV. But let's check this one out. So this one pours almost like a double IPA color of this. It's a bit more orange, but otherwise it's a slightly more bright, pin bright kind of hazy IPA color, which I love, with those golden hues and a white head. And we'll just move this out of the way so I can try and smell this one. So let's check out the aroma. Yeah, this definitely has more aromatics. It has a very cool, pithy, almost like dry grapey thing. Not necessarily Nelson, a bit more subdued, but I think sometimes I get that from Kashmir. There's a whiff of earthiness, which I think is from Simcoe. Like a more classic old school, and also maybe a bit of grapefruit. But there's also like a slightly, almost like a sweet cooked over, like a caramelized pineapple or something like that. Just because it seems like it has more sweetness. Yeah, totally, like caramelized pineapple. That could also come from Citra. Actually, it's got a lot of pineapple. Like, that caramelized pineapple, also to some extent canned pineapple juice, because it's often like sweetened. But still a bit of brightness, pithiness, dankness. It's definitely more uplifting than DedSec. So I think this is definitely held up better. But let's give it a taste, guys. Cheers. Yeah, definitely held up miles better. That's also, this is the end of August. So that September, October, yeah, it's 2.5 months or so in the can. That's more acceptable than 3.5 months, I think. When you get into that territory, the beer is just like, yeah, I don't mind drinking it, but I'd rather have something fresher. And like, with this, I can also taste, like, it was the same with Ghost of Tsushima. These beers, when they're dead fresh, must actually be really good. Like, because they're bright, dank, and uplifting. It has that sweet kind of grilled or candied pineapple flavor or canned pineapple juice flavor, but it's not cloying because it's pithy, dry, and slightly bitter, which is one of the big things that I think New England IPAs need. Otherwise, they just get like these really huge, filling, sweet, cloying beers that is like they have great mouthfeels and everything, but they just get so cloying when they're under attenuated. Good carbonation too, like medium. It has a really cool candy kind of vibe too, which also got more of a Ghost of Tsushima, that almost slice candy vibe. And maybe that's why this one, or this one, like in the, I don't know what I was about to say there. Like this one doesn't have that same candy vibe. Then maybe that's something to do with the age. I was about to say something about candied flavor in this one, but it doesn't really have any. What a vast difference jumping back. Wow. You definitely taste that this has more age on it. But it's still drinking surprisingly good though. But this is more up my alley. Not because it's a double IPA, just because it tastes fresher and it's more pithy and dank and whatnot. It has that bright, grapey, almost like kiwi goose, maybe not goose pepper, kiwi-like hop profile too. Almost tastes like Southern Hemisphere, like a little bit. And Simcoe just offers a little bit of a classic grapefruit flavor. And I think it's there where you get all like some of this pineapple stuff. Yeah, like this grilled candy pineapple thing. This is pretty good. Like I'm pretty impressed that just a month of difference pretty much does that big of a deal in terms of the finished beer or just like drinking experience. But it's also of course recipe, hopping schedules. This probably has a whole lot more hops in it than this. But man, I really want to drink some 8-Bit Fresh because these have so much potential. Like they drink, like all of them, so it seems like, fuck man, if they were like 4 weeks old, these would be really dope. And taste like they'd be my kind of IPAs, really, because they have that like dry, pithy, slightly bitter, West Coast-esque take on the New England style. And super light malt backbones, just like, not like really that malty, pretty doughy, a little bit maybe, but yeah, this is so pineapple. I'm even almost getting hints of coconut now which is weird. I don't know where that comes from. Like, I don't think Kashmir gives that. I think I'll score HODL a straight 90, just like Ghost of Tsushima, with the benefit of the doubt of age. Not the benefit of the doubt, really, because it tastes good. With thinking of the fact that this is dead fresh, is probably fucking dope IPA. And DedSec, let's see, because it's not a bad beer in any way, and there's no off flavors or anything. It's just like, it's just lacking because it's not fresh, or not as fresh as this. 86 maybe, 85, 86, 375 maybe on Untappd. Small 375, like 365 maybe. Something like that. If you could, I could grade that. I'm not a Untappd supporter, but yeah, it's just a bit more lacking than the others. But they taste really good. I mean, again, they remind me a lot of how Slice does haze, and their hazy IPAs are really nice too. You know, so it's kind of like that with a bit of a more West Coast approach, maybe, because again, I remember a lot of their, especially like the OJ beers, are a bit more juicy and fruit forward. But again, like Slice for me is also the big thing I love from them. Like their hazies are great, but the big thing is that West Coast goodness. But very nice beers. Again, HODL is my favorite. Again, yeah, 8-bit is probably really, really dope when it's really, really fresh. Murrieta, California brewery. Maybe next time I'm in California, I'll need to pay these guys a visit. There's many breweries I need to pay a visit nowadays. But yeah, tasty, tasty stuff, especially HODL. So if you guys had a chance to try either of these, let me know what you thought of them. Thanks a ton to Beer Jam for the beers. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, share the Facebook fan page, and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers and see you guys in another beer review.